Welcome to the WDW Fan Zone show. I'm Stuart, joined by Kurt and Jess. And tonight we've got a short crew here because Darlene's baking cookies, Lottie's working, and John, unfortunately, is under the weather. Hopefully he'll get well and get back here real soon. But right now we've got a lot to talk about, and especially a lot to hear with what's going on in the latest Walt Disney World news. So take it away, Jess.
Hello, everybody. All right, here we go. Kali River Rapids will be closing for refurbishment on January 6th. This is a yearly thing, so they usually close in the winter when it's nice and cold. 3 new lions have arrived at Kilimanjaro Safaris. Disney has also relaunched the Protect the Pride Conservation Fund to support the Wildlife Conservation Network's Lion Fund, and they are partners working across Africa to double the number of lions in the wild by 2050. It has been announced that Dinosaur in Animal Kingdom will stay open a little longer than expected. We should be able to ride Dinosaur through 2025 so they can retheme the area for the new Tropical Americas themed land, Pueblo Esperanza. Construction is underway at Disney Lakeshore Lodge and will be a DVC property on Bay Lake. It is in the same area that was supposed to be Reflections, a Disney Lakeside Lodge resort that was announced years ago and quietly disappeared. It is projected to open in 2027. The Pirates of the Caribbean themed lounge in Magic Kingdom has an opening timeline of late 2025. The new Villain show in Hollywood Studios that will open next summer has a new title, Disney Villains Unfairly Ever After. And the Magic Kingdom Nighttime Parade starting this summer has been named to Disney Starlight Dream the Night Away. Don't forget to check park hours before planning your trip and check again once you arrive to see if they've changed. The Walt Disney World area is expecting a cold front to pass through tomorrow on Wednesday, but it will warm up this weekend with highs in the mid-70s and lows in the low 60s and lots of sun. And that's the latest Disney news straight to you from Central Florida. Back to you, Stuart.
Thank you, Jess. Glad to see you back here this week.
Thank you
Another
so much.
great update.
Yeah, thank you so much. And see you real soon.
Yep, enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you. You
Bye,
too.
Jess.
Bye-bye.
All right, so you guys are stuck with me and Kurt tonight. And
You're welcome.
And we're going to discuss the attractions that we absolutely love but need to change. And Kurt, why don't you go first with your list?
Okay, so I actually surveyed the family and said, all right, guys, we know we're going all the attractions, and we also know some of them need to be updated. So first thing the wife said was Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger spin. That we got to update the electronics in that thing, because that gun, it's still locked in place. Your partner can maneuver it so that you can't shoot the target you need. Hey, take that thing out of the holster completely and open hand it, just like you can when you're over at Disneyland, like their version. They have a newer version. So then it's not just locked in place. So get that there, fix the target so the targets are more accurate. So fix Buzz Lightyear for us, please. Mission Space. I don't know anyone that likes Mission Space Green right now. Get rid of it. Update that video. Update the screens. We don't want to orbit the Earth, okay? We're not whoever was it, Virgin Airlines or whatever, that went out there and barely orbited the Earth. No, get us off the planet. Leave. Okay. Third was Expedition Everest. Can we please finally get our? We just need them moving. Help them move. Come on. Toy Story Midway Mania. They've been saying all along how they can change things up, and I believe they do sometimes change it during the holiday season. Let's get some new areas that we can do. Get new targets to shoot at. That's another one that we wanted to just see up. Great attraction every time. Carpal tunnel attraction. Let's update the scenes though a little bit, please. And then finally, last but not least, please, can we fix Journey into an Imagination with Figment? give us an update. Give us so we need bring us back to Dreamfinder. Please bring us back to Dreamfinder. Okay. So those were my 5. Those are my top 5 attractions that I love them. I write them every time. They're due.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you with your list. But so we don't sound repetitive, I have a different list to share. And I also have a top 5, and in no particular order. I'm going to start off with Spaceship Earth. Spaceship Earth has always been one of my top favorite attractions in all of Walt Disney World. Why? Because I don't, I'm easy when it comes to rides. I don't like the roller coasters that spin you around because they get me sick. So I've always loved Spaceship Earth. But one of the things I don't love about Spaceship Earth is the dead space that you go through at the end of the attraction. There's room for a couple of more scenes. I don't like the fact that they turn the newspaper boy around, turn him back. If the rumors are true that his face was damaged, fix it, please. I don't believe the rumors anyway, but I'd like to see the paper boy turned back around. It's a wonderful, timeless attraction. It just needs a little tweaking here and there. My next one is Carousel of Progress, another attraction that I love. This was Walt's baby back in the, when they opened up the World's Fair in New York City. By updating this, what I want to see them do is go back to the original. Put that last scene in the original scene, because you know what? You can't keep up with technology the way it keeps changing so rapidly. So bring it back to its original form, pay homage to Walt, and let it be. My next one is Soarin'. I love Soarin'. I love that they do Soarin' around the world. We get Soarin' California every now and then. What I'd like to see them do, how about Soarin' some other states, New York, Florida, other places, and switch them up. I think they can do that where you never know which Soarin' you're going to get until you're actually in the seat and the attraction starts.
That's not a bad idea. Make several of them.
Yeah.
And then it would be like getting onto Guardians of the Galaxy, not knowing which song you're going to get.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How cool would that be?
That would be so cool if they could do that. And I think they can. They might have to run it, one day at this, the next day at that, but I think it could be done.
Could we do Soarin' over Tatooine?
Yeah.
Why not?
They could do a Santa Soarin'.
There we go. Yes. We'll follow Santa in his sleigh.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Another one I had was Fantasmic. I like the new version of Fantasmic. I think it could use a little tweaking here, but what I really want to see them change, those concrete seats. When you're sitting there, and it's because you have to get there early for the show, they get very uncomfortable. I don't know if they can hand out pads for you to sit on before the show that you return like you do with the 3D glasses, or if there's some other material they can put over the concrete just to make it a little more comfortable that can withstand the rainy climate in Florida.
That's what I was going to say. I think the reason it's not there is because of the rain.
Yeah, but I think they could hand out pads for everyone to sit on, and when the show's over, you turn them in as you exit.
Sure.
Like they do. Yeah, I know.
You and I would turn them in, but
yeah, right. I think a lot of people would. I think a lot of people wouldn't, but I'd like to see a softer material there.
That, and the problem with handing out pads is you've got something to throw now. So those will get thrown at the characters out in the water and everything else.
You know what? That's true.
That I don't see happening. Yeah.
Maybe they could change the concrete out and put teak there. It's a little softer than sitting on concrete. I don't know how much more comfortable that would be if you're sitting on that for a couple hours.
Does it say teak?
Yeah.
As in wood?
Yeah.
As in slivers? How about they do the plastic wood instead, where you're less likely to get slivers, and it's going to last forever.
Yeah, that's fine with me. And finally, my last one is Tower of Terror. I love the ambiance of the Tower of Terror. What I don't love is the random number of drops, which keeps increasing more and more. Bring it back a notch. 1 or 2, maybe 3, and that's it. Please.
Haven't been on it in 10 years.
I haven't been on it because I can't take it's the last time I was on it. I think it must have been like 5 or 6 drops, and was like, okay, enough already. Get me out of here.
No one wants to ride it with me, so I'm like, okay, whatever. Now, as soon as they retheme Rock and Roller Coaster, I'm going to have people want to go on it again with me.
So I love the Muppets. I cannot do Rock and Roller Coaster. I did it once. I was tricked into it, as I've told the story many times. Because it has that spin where you kind of go upside down, and it's
you do your corkscrew.
Yeah, I got very nauseous
Twice.
on that. I cannot do that.
Dramamine.
Yeah, that won't help me with something like that. I'll be a goner. Yeah, and that's my 5. Do you have any honorable mention?
No, because you already took care of them.
Same here. You took care of the ones that I would have had.
You grabbed some good picks. I don't. As far as Phantasmic, the one thing I agree on is something about the seating. I don't know how they would do that though to keep it safe, but cram as many people in as you can. They do it that way because when you got little kids, you can cram more people in there. Versus if you have set seats, you can't cram them in. So they don't make us anything. I don't know how else they could do that.
Yeah, I don't know how they could do it either. I think if they use plastic in the Florida heat, at some point it's going to start breaking down.
It's going to melt. You're right. It's going to wear out.
I just don't know what they can do. You know, maybe somebody's got an invention out there that's not overly burdensome cost-wise that they could try, but who knows?
Well,
I think
put a screen up or like a sun screen over the top of all of that to help prevent some of that going, or even like just a canopy over the top.
They could do something like that. But you know, it's just you're sitting there for so long because you have to get there so early to get a seat. That's what makes it uncomfortable. Because once the show starts, it's like I'm ready for the show to be over.
Yeah, great show. We love the show.
Yep.
And I really like we like the updated version a lot.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
really good.
Yeah. Anything else you want to discuss about Disney tonight, since we're doing a very quick show?
So that new resort that's coming in over at over by the Fort Wilderness, to my knowledge, it's very vague with what they're talking about, but to my knowledge, it is not strictly a DVC resort. It's a new resort that has DVC in it, kind of like inside of the Wilderness Lodge. Some of those floors are themed for DVC now.
You know what? That's how I took it when they made the announcement. I'm going like, okay, what are they not telling us here? It's, you know, there's going to be DVC, but there's something more to it.
Yeah, the way I understood it from another podcast is that it's a new resort with DVC within it. So it's not just a DVC resort.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. And you know, so this way, if family wants to try, not DVC members, doesn't want to rent points, should it be able to have an opportunity to try it out and see how much they like it or love it.
Right. And then they do need something. I would stay there just to be closer to Fort Wilderness.
Yeah.
I missed my first 4 trips. I want to say I stayed at Fort Wilderness. So I would love to try that again. But I don't have a trailer or a tent or a family that's willing to stay in a tent for a week in the Florida heat. So to get that ambiance over there, the closest I could get was Wilderness Lodge, which is by far one of my favorite resorts. So to have something that close, we'll see what it looks like, how they theme it. So
now, what are your three favorite resorts? Your top 3 favorite resorts?
Wilderness Lodge, Bay Lake Tower. As far as theming, probably Animal Kingdom Lodge, but that is the lower tier. And the biggest reason it's the lower tier, even though I get a car every time, it's so far away from everything else. It's just so far. We have not been back to Beach Club since they've redone it. Because I know they went through a refurb a year or 2 ago. We weren't Boardwalk. Same thing. We haven't been there since they've rethemed it. But otherwise, those 3, we seem to like the best. If we were to do, why can't I think of it? Saratoga Springs versus Animal Kingdom Lodge. They're both far away on both sides. We're going to take Animal Kingdom Lodge over Saratoga Springs.
Yeah.
Just the theming, hands down, we like it that much better with the animals.
I'll give you my top three, but it's very different from. I have two top threes. I have top three, which are only resorts I've stayed in, and I've got top three of resorts I've visited and wish I had stayed in.
Okay.
And there's a couple of overlaps. Mine is the Beach Club is number one, Wilderness Lodge is number two, and Caribbean Beach came in third, but it was close with Port Orleans French Quarter. Now, my top three of resorts that I visited and stayed in would be Beach Club, Polynesian, and what was the other one? Oh, God. Oh, Animal Kingdom. Not necessarily in that order, but that would be the top three.
Right. So now, the Polynesian we enjoyed. The problem was, my kids are all tall. I have two. So if they don't share queen size beds very well, they beat each other up, just rolling over and kicking each other. So they can't share a bed, and my wife and I aren't going to sleep with one of them because we don't want to be beat up. So they've only got that currently because the new resort has not opened yet. All they have is those studio villas that are affordable. And one of the beds is that fold down bed. Now, my sister stayed with us one night and she loved it. She's also 5'3".
Yeah.
So at 5'3", she fit. My 6 foot and 6'2" kids, not so much. They fought over who had to sleep there. So we haven't been back yet because of that. Eventually here at some point, if it's just my wife and I going down, if the kids aren't going to make it or significant others aren't going to make it, my wife and I will try that 1 year just to stay there. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen with that. So maybe we'll try the new resort.
And with me living down here now, I haven't been to a resort to stay in a resort in a very long time. At some point,
you'd have to do a staycation.
Yeah, I will at some point. With him here, it's hard.
Right.
Him being the dog behind me.
Right.
So someday maybe I'll do like one or two nights at one of the resorts just to immerse myself a little bit more.
My sister found it was one night at a DVC resort. I don't remember if it was the Riviera or where it was at, and it was like $320 or something like that, where she rented points basically, so she could do 2 days back to back.
Now I know you can bring animals to the cabins, but
yes,
I'm not going to do that to him because every time he goes in the car, he thinks he's going to the vet. He does not like the vet. Not that he doesn't like the vet; he doesn't like going to the vet. He just had a traumatic experience there because he had surgery last week at the vet. So
poor Bernie. Good boy, Bernie.
He's okay. He's doing fine.
Yeah. He's out like a light.
Yeah, he is. When you get that old, that's all you do is sleep.
That's all I want to do now. And I'm not that old.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up for us this week. We will have another show next week. I don't know who's going to be here next week. Hopefully everybody will be here next week. So until then, everybody be safe, be yourself.
I'm not singing, but hey, good night, everybody. I don't want to lose our last person that watches us. That'll scare me.